Good morning, students. So, I will start the session by recapitulating what we have discussed in the previous session. In the previous session, we discussed what is life, what are living organisms, and we discussed the two most important characteristics of living thing, that is living things have definite shape and size, and living things shows organization. Now, so we'll continue the next characteristics in this session. We'll continue the other characteristics in this session. The third characteristics that living organisms have is growth and development. Growth is a permanent and irreversible change in size of a cell, an organ, or whole organism, which accompanied by an increase in dry weight, increase in mass, and increase in number. So my dear children, what is growth? Growth is a permanent and irreversible change. Means it is a permanent change and we cannot reverse it. We cannot reverse it. It is an irreversible change. Of what? Change in size of a cell or an organ or an whole organism, usually accompanied by increase in dry weight, increase in mass, and increase in number. So growth means growth is a permanent and irreversible change. Change of what? Change of cell, organ, or the whole organism, usually accompanied by increase in the dry weight, increase in the mass, and increase in the number. So this is called as growth. And what is development? Development is some of the changes that occur in an organ or an organism during its lifetime. During its lifetime, all the changes that take place because of the growth, and these changes will be altogether called as development. So growth and development is a characteristic of living organism. Now, growth of a living organism occurs by cell division. How does this growth occur? The growth occurs by cell division. The cell divides and new cells produce, and which leads to the growth of the body. Cell enlargement, when the cell enlarges, that also lead to the growth of the body. And cell differentiation. Now cells get differentiated, like in plant cells you have studied in grade 9. Meristematic tissues get differentiated into permanent tissues. Means meristematic tissue lose the property to divide and they change into permanent tissues. So how does the growth take place? Growth takes place by three ways. First, either by cell division, number 2 by cell enlargement, and number 3 by cell differentiation. So growth of a living organism takes place by cell division or cell enlargement or by cell differentiation. In case of plant, the cell division occurs throughout the life. So the growth in plants occur throughout the life. Whereas in animals, growth stops after certain age. However, cell division occurs in certain tissues to replace the lost cell. Is it clear? Now in plants, cell division occurs throughout the life. So growth occurs throughout the life. But in animals, growth is limited to certain period. Why? Because growth is limited to a certain period in animals. And however, cell division stops in majority of the cases. But however, in some cases, the cell division occurs to replace the lost cells or tissues. Is it clear? And unicellular organism also grows by cell division. Unicellular like amoeba, paramecium, they also grow. How they grow? They also grow by cell division. So this is the third characteristic which we studied in this chapter. The third characteristic, that growth and development is a important characteristic for living organism. Now, if growth is considered simply increase in body mass as the only criteria, then non-living object also exhibit growth as they also show increase in body weight, isn't it? Now if we consider growth simply meaning increase in the body mass, then the non-living things also increase in the body mass. Like for example, mountain, boulders, sand mounds, they increase in size. Like we know that Himalayas every year by few centimeter, Himalaya is increasing in size. So that in mass. So that doesn't mean that Himalaya is a living thing. If we consider growth to be increase in mass only, then with that point the Himalaya is also a living thing. No, my dear student, Himalaya is not a living thing. However, such an increase on non-living object is due to the deposition of matter from outside. Yes, Himalayas mass increases or size increases because of the deposition of matter from the outside. Here the growth in mass is taking from outside, whereas in case of living organism, growth occurs inside. So that growth in mass is different from the growth of mass in the living organism. Growth in living organism, because growth in living organism occurs inside, from inside. Thus growth alone cannot be considered as the only criteria defining the property of living organisms. Now I will clear this statement. Means only focusing that any individual or anything is showing growth, so that will be considered as living thing. No, there are other criteria also, and we'll focus on those criteria also. If that thing will contain all these criteria, then it will be considered as living thing. Only presence of growth will not mark that object or that thing to be as living thing. Is it clear? For living thing, other characteristics are also responsible, like characteristics we discussed before. Definite shape and mass, and we discuss about organization. So all these characters should be present in the living things to be considered as living. Now we'll move on to the next characteristic, that is reproduction. Okay, so everybody knows what is reproduction. Reproduction is a process of producing offsprings of their own kind. Now since you are grown up children, so we'll not use the word offsprings, we'll use progeny. That looks much better. Progeny means new generation, new offsprings are created. So reproduction is a process of producing progeny from the existing ones. How? From the existing ones, and it should be of same kind. Now reproduction is not only production of new copy like itself, but it is a means for the survival of the population of species on this earth. Yes, my dear student, reproduction doesn't mean to produce a same copy of it. It also means to continue life on the earth. Because of reproduction, life is able to continue. I'll explain you by giving you this example. Now, any living organism is there, it will have a definite lifespan. And after its lifespan, it will die. It has to die. All living organism will die. Now suppose reproduction is not there, then what will happen? One day will come that all living organism will be removed from the earth. But due to reproduction, we are producing a new copy from the previous ones. So when the previous one die, there is a new copy present on the earth. So this is how reproduction is able to continue life on the earth. So reproduction is not only producing a new copy, it is also helping in continuing life on the earth. All living organisms have property to produce more of its own kind by the process of reproduction, isn't it? Now, those organisms who produces exact copy of themselves, such type of reproduction is called as asexual reproduction. Means in asexual reproduction, exact copy will be produced, and mostly unicellular organisms shows asexual reproduction. And when and in a mode of reproduction in which we do not get the exact copy, there are some differences, and that mode of reproduction is called as sexual reproduction, and mostly all multicellular organism shows sexual reproduction. Now, there are certain organisms which do not reproduce. For example, mules. There are certain infertile couples, human couples, who are not able to reproduce. Now, there is a sterile worker bee who is not able to reproduce. That means they will not be considered in living organisms. No, my dear student, they are considered in the living organisms, because although reproduction is an important characteristic, but it is not the only characteristic which will determine the object to be living organisms. The object should contain many other characteristics to be called as living. So these organisms, although they are not able to reproduce, but they are having other characteristics of living organisms. That is why they are under the category of living organisms. Is it clear? Mules, sterile worker bees, and infertile human couples all are living organisms, because because they are having other characteristics of living organism except the characteristics of reproduction. So in this session we discuss again two more important topics, that is we discuss about growth and development, we discuss living organism shows growth and development, we discuss that plants shows growth throughout the year, whereas animals shows growth to a limited period. Even unicellular organism also shows growth by cell division. Generally, growth takes place by cell division, cell differentiation and cell enlargement. We also discussed the topic reproduction. We discussed that reproduction is not only producing a new copy of itself, it is also helps in continuing life on the earth. Then so we will continue the next of the characteristic in the next session. Thank you students. Have a wonderful day ahead.